Hello, Star Wars fans. Now, I would like to call myself a liar, but I really said I wasn't going to do another video with this second rant on the Force Awakens movie. But I was listening to the audio, and as I was going through it, I said, I'm missing something. Oh, that's right, the diversity issue. So here we go. A lot of the big YouTubers that I spoke about in the previous video were talking about how the movie is going to be, they had to do episode 7 this way to give us a bigger 8 and 9. Were also the same ones that were saying they love the diversity thing. And as a matter of fact, Angry Joe, on his spoiler-free review, really came out at the beginning of the video and chastised some racist group. I mean, he didn't call it wasn't a group, it was just racist individuals that I guess had a problem with a black guy being in Star Wars. I mean, I don't know. He never really came out and said, but I remember hearing rumors about people didn't like it because a black guy was in Star Wars, which is a dumbass thing to even think of. But I digress. In the video, Angry Joe comes out swinging against this group and says it's really stupid for them to even say the things that they say. Honestly, I think maybe Angry Joe is listening to the trolls a little too much. And if you know anything about trolls, they usually say the most obnoxious things anyway, just to get reactions from people. A lot of times, most people would just stay away from them, don't even bother to respond to them. And I'm not the most savvy when it comes to spotting a troll, but with Angry Joe being on Twitter and Facebook and having his own website, and he's probably got accounts everywhere. And he probably responds to comments in the YouTube section and maybe private messages and stuff like that. He probably does this whenever he can. So he's got a lot more experience than myself at being able to spot a troll. So maybe these are trolls. Just saying. But anyway, when he was chastising this group of individuals, he comes right out the next moment and he says that he wished that the movie had had a few more Latinos in it so he could have somebody to identify with. And then Other Joe said something about, well, I think Poe was Latino. I think it was Other Joe. And he said, yeah, that's right. Poe might be Latino. No, wait a minute, let me take that back. Other Joe might not have been there. I think it was just Angry Joe by himself. So I just want to correct that. And I hate to say it, Angry Joe, but you kind of sounded like the people you were just chastising. You need somebody to identify with in order to like a movie? Really? Oh, I happen to be a pasty Caucasian white dude, although I do have Cherokee Indian heritage. But I've watched the movie Desperado, and there's the majority of the movie, like 99.9% of the film, is Mexican people. And I enjoyed the movie. I'm surprised I've never bought it on DVD, but I used to have it on VHS back in the day. And I'd watch that movie periodically, and I enjoyed the movie. And I didn't care that it didn't have that many white dudes in it. I didn't have to have somebody that looked like me to identify with. I identified with Antonio Banderas' plight in the movie. The fact that he had I think it was his girlfriend or his wife or something was killed, and they shot his hand as a reminder, and he was going after this guy named Bucho, who did all this, who was behind it all. And he went on that adventure. He was, going around looking for this dude named Bucho, and he had all the guns in the guitar case. And I enjoyed that movie. I watched the movie Friday. It's nothing but black guys in it. The only closest thing to white dudes in the movie were the two Hispanic dudes. And I enjoyed that movie. I laughed my butt off. So if we can't watch films and without having certain people to identify with, that look like us, then we got some major problems. I worry about the films of the future, because this is the way I can see it. The films are going to be, the filmmakers are going to be worried about hitting every demographic to appease everybody, to the point where they won't have a story. They'll just have characters just walking around picking their nose and the other hands digging up their butts and there'd be no film. It'd be like, it looked like one of these documentaries where you see the behind the scenes stuff. This is what the film could have looked like if we could have actually focused on the story instead of having to hit every damn demographic out there. That's the part that I worry about. I mean, let's think about Star Wars for a moment. Let's John Boyega. Well, he's a black man, but he doesn't have hazel eyes. What if there's a black guy out there who's lighter skinned, who has hazel eyes, but can he identify with John Boyega? I'm just asking. What about a black woman? Did you see any black women big stars in there? I don't remember any. What about midgets or dwarfs, whatever they want to be called? Outside of being in suits, I'm talking about they're actually there. You got a little midget person or dwarf, whatever, small in stature person that's a Jedi. Where's that person that represents the little people? Since Boogie 2988 is a big guy, and so am I. That's the reason why I have something in common with him. Where's the fat guy that's a rebel ace in a X-wing? Of course, he'd have to have a modified X-wing that could carry all that extra weight, or maybe a fat Jedi that really whips some ass. Where's that person that I can identify with? I mean, think about it. This could be a slippery slope. What about Caitlyn Jenner? What about if Caitlyn Jenner likes Star Wars? Where's the transgender person that represents Caitlyn Jenner, or represents transgender people, period? Where's the gay and lesbian character that represents them? You see how much you could just slippery slope could just get out of hand. And I don't want to have every demographic hit. If you cannot identify with people and their plight or the characters themselves, certain characteristics, then, I don't know. I really don't know what to say about society anymore. And I hope that Angry Joe didn't really mean it that way. I hope it was kind of a slip of the tongue. But, I mean, I can just see the slippery slope here. And I wouldn't want to see that. I can look beyond certain things to identify with. I didn't identify with anybody in the movie Friday. I didn't identify with anybody in the movie Desperado. But I did identify, and I didn't, as far as Friday goes, I didn't identify with their plight either. But I still enjoyed myself. And I didn't say, I wish they had more white people in that movie. Nope, didn't even faze me. In the Desperado movie, I didn't say, they ought to have some more white people in there. Didn't say that either. I don't care. I want to see a good movie. And Desperado was a good movie. Or I say is a good movie. Friday was a pretty good comedy to me, but I've kind of been into black comedy for a while. Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, whatever. But that's just the way I am. But if we can't identify with certain plights, I'd love to be able to identify with some of Ray's characteristics, but I really don't, or some of Finn's characteristics, but I don't. I don't even, outside of like the old characters, being able to identify a little bit with Han, I don't see anybody else I can identify with yet. Maybe the old cast members, but not the new ones. So, Star Wars for me wasn't, I didn't understand. I didn't get it. The plight didn't really grab me either. Luke's plight was better than Ray's to me, but that's just me. But that's the problem with this diversity thing. Having diversity for diversity's sake can be a problem. And that's something that everybody needs to think about. So I'm going to give you some examples. And I hope Angry Joe hears this message, but since I'm a small-time YouTuber, he probably won't. But I want you to listen. If you're a Star Wars fan, I really want you to listen to this. Because I'm going to throw 3 actors at you. And I want to see if y'all are willing to champion this. I want to see if there's a movement that pushes Disney to do this. Y'all can do it. I can't do it by myself. So here we go. I'm going to throw you 3 actors in 3 fake positions in the first order. Because I personally would like to see more diversity amongst the villains. Because everybody loves their heroes to be diverse. But nobody's asking for the villains. I noticed that. Why not? Are you a hypocrite? Why is it okay to have the First Order as the old Nazi template, where you have white power or white devils versus multicultural goodness? Where does that come from? You know, they teach this garbage in these screwed up universities and colleges as well, and these film schools and whatnot. That's like the garbage they teach. Some Marxist garbage. So let's bring the First Order into this new variation of Star Wars. This is new Star Wars. This isn't Lucas's Nazi template here. Why didn't they do that? So I'm going to give you 3 actors of color, and you decide for yourself. You can put anybody you want to in here, but these are the people I would put in here. The First Order. Regina King, who played Will Smith's wife in Enemy of the State. She's going to play the Admiral of the Third Fleet for the First Order. Now, I'm just making this up as I go. She is not going to be redeemed. She is First Order to the core, and she wants to see the Resistance crushed. If she dies, she'll die like Admiral Piet. She'll go up in a ball of fire, just like he did. Number 2, since Angry Joe was talking about Latinos, let's get Jacob Vargas. I know Joe's name is supposedly Joe Vargas, but let's get Jacob Vargas. I don't know what he's doing these days, but the last time I saw Jacob Vargas was in the Sons of Anarchy TV show a few years ago. So I don't know what he's doing these days. Let's get him to play a Special Forces Stormtrooper commander or something, and he's going to be, sometimes he doesn't have his helmet on, and he's got a scar on his face, maybe a patch on his eye or something. He looks like a total badass. And he's going to be, a huge threat. Okay. Now let's get a hotshot TIE fighter pilot. And I'll add another one here too, but let's get Derek Luke, who played Booby Miles in the movie Friday Night Lights. Let's find him. I don't know what he's doing these days, but let's get him to play a hotshot TIE fighter pilot. And he's got a unique uniform, similar, well, not similar, but kind of like unique, like Jacob Vargas's character would be, the Stormtrooper. All right, he's going to have a unique outfit, and he's going to be a total badass with a TIE fighter. He's going to be like the polar opposite of Poe. When he comes out, he takes down like 12 to 14 X-Wings right off the bat. Maybe you have another character in here that's a hotshot TIE fighter pilot. Or maybe she's an assassin or something. And let's say it's Selena Gomez or something. I'm just throwing names out here. I'm just, maybe Michelle Rodriguez or something. I'm just throwing names just so you can understand. I want to see more women. I want to see more diversity amongst the villains, where it doesn't look like the Nazi template anymore. Because if you live in a world where the only bad things that are ever done is white people are the only people that do bad things, you're living in a fantasy land. I'm sorry, you just are. If you think that anybody, any race, any ethnicity, any culture can actually don that white gown with those dove wings and the plays the golden harp and the halo over their head, you're badly mistaken. And you live on cloud 9. You don't. Your people don't. Your gender doesn't. So get over yourselves. Let's have, there are bad black people out there. There are bad Hispanics out there. They've been out throughout time. There are bad white people. White people aren't the only ones that got horns, pitchfork, and a pointy tail. I've seen black people just like that, and Hispanics. So let's just get over ourselves. Let's have our villains be diverse too. Why not? So, if you want to be a giant hypocrite, then don't want it. I'm just saying it. You really need to think about this before you go overboard, and then we get on this slippery slope. But anyway, I've said all I'm gonna say about this movie. I'm not planning on coming back doing anything else unless when 8 comes out, but who knows. Anyway, peace out, Star Wars fans.